Hello, dear colleagues, and welcome. This is a presentation about the impact of Fordism on American culture between 1908 and 1927. So, Fordism, first, it's important to present a definition of what Fordism was. Fordism was an innovative system of production, obviously implemented by Ford Motors Company, that consisted of high wages, extended leisure time, and the transformation of workers into consumers. Henry Ford's innovative assembly line method revolutionized industrial production in the early 1900s, and between 1908 and 1913, Ford produced over 200,000 Model T automobiles. For that time period, that was outstanding. That was really a revolutionary number. Using conveyor belts to move small parts to workers performing specific tasks, Ford was able to build a car under the assembly line system in 1 hour and 33 minutes. This was, in terms of productivity, in terms of industrial production, this was groundbreaking. Ford's method was soon moved to most phases of American industry. It set a pattern of abundance and consumerism that would play a significant role in the economic boom and social transformation of the 1920s. It took Ford 5 years to develop the assembly line method, and he did so with one goal in mind. According to his writings, he wanted to manufacture a high-grade car to sell at a low price. Now, what is the purpose of this study? The purpose is to measure the socioeconomic impact of Fordism, particularly in the town of Dearborn, Michigan, to determine also what was the role of Fordism in the sociocultural transformation that took place in the United States during the 1920s. Now, why Dearborn, Michigan? In 1918, Ford decided to move his plant from Detroit to Dearborn. Ford believed that relocating to a suburban area would provide better opportunities for the company's workers. For example, home ownership would be more affordable, the lack of congestion would make car ownership more desirable, and lower taxes would mean more purchasing power. Now, in addition, Ford believed also it would be easier for him to take control of the politics of a smaller town, right? He was Chicago Tribune and different other. I provide these here. These include the U.S. Department of Labor, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Ford, also and the New York Times, the sources. Now, one of the most important sources that was used for this study was the Dearborn Independent. In 1918, Ford bought the Dearborn Independent. It was a weekly that was founded in 1901, and when Ford purchased it, the newspaper became the official organ of the Ford Motor Company. At its highest point, the Independent claimed a circulation of about 700,000 to 900,000 readers. This was comparable only to the New York Times at that in that particular time. Now, Ford used his position as owner of the newspaper to set the paper's editorial line, and for that matter, he wrote a regular column. The column was Mr. Ford's Page. Mr. Ford's Page was essential to Ford's ambitions. He used this page to present his views about politics, business, society, and anything related to Americanism, to American culture, to the importance of hard work, productivity, consumption, and all those things that he stood for. He obviously set out to redefine the concept of happiness and American success. Now, most of the primary source research for this study was focused on the analysis of Mr. Ford's Page. I looked at his editorials from November of 1919 to December of 1920 to get a significant sample of what he was actually presenting and he was actually after by committing to that newspaper publication. So Ford's ambitions, the conclusions really are that Ford's ambitions went beyond business success. He set out to transform American culture to establish a new form of American capitalism that was centered around hard work, productivity, and consumerism, with his automobile as the symbol of American prosperity and happiness. Over the decade of the 1920s, Dearborn doubled in size and grew in population from 5,000 to 50,000, and Ford wage earners made about half of the population of this new suburban town. Labor and also the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Heather Barrow, who published a very interesting book dealing with Ford and Dearborn. I hope this study was worth looking at, and I hope you guys look more into the topic of Fordism and American culture. Thank you.